Victory Bell opting to stay in and dump a charge move. Whatever they throw will just tickle as Revavroom going to completely wall them. The opponent sends out Tapu Fini and clearly they are core broken. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that have played GBL for quite some time, you'll remember one of the first ever teams to trend in the Go Battle League was a Poison Double Dark team featuring Nidoqueen. Back in the days when Nidoqueen used to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Fang and just debuff the absolute crap out of everything. The two dark types were usually either Umbreon or Mandibuzz operating as a safe switch or looking to bait out a potential fairy or fighter, allowing Scrafty to power up punch his way through the remainder of the team. Fast forward to season 20, believe it or not, dark double poison still exists, but never like this. Today we've got some very fun battles from OG Saint Nick, who I'm going to call Nick for the duration of the video, running a very spicy, very fun variation of the team. Is Nick's unique take on this tried and tested classic GBL team going to get you to #1 on the GBL leaderboard? Let me think about that. No, it is not. These battles, of course, are for your entertainment purpose only. So before someone comments down below, you'd never win with this team. These battles are probably hand selected, although I can't confirm that. And they're also played in the Halloween Cup that's no longer here. With the housekeeping out of the way, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, Nick leads Revavroom into Azumarill. Oh, hello Azumarill, nice to see you, nice. These poison jabs are going to tear through Azumarill. The opponent safe switches into Dragougi. Nick going to opt to debuff the opponent's defense before pivoting out, likely into Spiritomb. The opponent, not knowing the moveset, invests a really poor Protect Shield, and these sucker punches now going to tear through Dragougi's HP stat. The opponent fires off the Aqua Tail. We're able to withstand the damage. Dragougi now doubled up. It looks like Nick opting for the one shield, full sucker punch farm down, and going to leave a whole heap of residual energy good to go. Not only is Nick running a very spicy team, he's running some off-meta movesets. Spiritomb does have access to Shadow Ball, one of the best ghost type charge moves in the game. We're actually opting for Shadow Sneak, which is a pretty poor move, 45 energy for 50 damage, but of course it is slightly cheaper and somewhat spammier. We're also running Rock Tomb. Azumarill already fell victim of the debuff treatment. We now send out Revavroom. Hopefully this isn't a Hydro Pump. Oh boy. They are running Hydro Pump and they're able to pick up that one hit KO. The opponent then pivots out into Frostlass. Zoroark looking primed to sweep now. Nick going to invest the final protection, blocking up the incoming avalanche. Nick going to overfarm, farming up past the double foul play. The opponent really in a tough position. The opponent opts to shield the first. Zoroark says there's plenty more of where that came from. The next foul play will be removing Frostlass from the field of play when Azumarill does return. Zoroark just has to withstand the bubble damage, which we're able to do, reach the sludge bomb, and Zoroark is an Azumarill counter confirmed. GG's, and thanks for playing. I'm sure you would have noticed that Zoroark was taking absurd damage from just the fast move pressure of Bobble and Powder Snow. It is such a glassy Pokemon. In the next battle, we see the annoying Marshmallow in the lead. The opponent, in a really poor matchup, opt to stay and take a whole heap of poison jab damage before sending out Toxapex, a Pokemon that I really do think looks like a nipple. We fire off the Acid Spray, bank an Acid Spray for the road, and then send out Spiritomb. This would be a good matchup for Spiritomb usually, as Ghost does resist poison. Although Spiritomb again, not the bulkiest, and we have given the opponent a huge energy lead. The opponent going to be able to outpace to the back-to-back bronze. Nick tanks both before returning fire with the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb doesn't get the same type of attack bonus, but with a lowered defense, Nick able to secure the knockout and maintain alignment. The opponent sends out Clodsire. Clodsire gets a very nice Mudshot farm down. This Clodsire and energy lead is going to be somewhat of an issue for Nick, as Zoroark's an insanely glassy Pokemon and Revavroom is a steel type that certainly doesn't want to see it either. Nick going to send out Zoroark, invest to Protect Shield, blocking up the Water Pulse. The opponent then sends back out Wigglytuff. Nick responds with Revavroom. Revavroom going to completely wall all of this energy. The opponent fire off the Icy Wind. We're able to withstand the damage, get a massive Poison Jab farm down, back out. Comes Clodsire. Nick going for the Acid Spray bait. Come on trainer, put up that Protect Shield. The opponent does shield the Acid Spray. Unfortunately, we're unable to reach the OV, and it's all down to Zoroark to clean up. Back out comes Zoroark. We throw one snarl and the foul play. Foul play forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We're only one snarl off the next foul play. Is this enough to knock out? Oh, not quite. The opponent survives on 1 HP and the Dream. The snarl does sneak through. So Nick invests a Protect Shield. We snarl farm down and take that game. Heading into the next battle. Oh boy, Clodsire in the lead. As this was Halloween Cup, a lot were opting for Mud Shot, but fortunate for us, this opponent is running Poison Sting. Poison Sting will be preferred in the open meta, but in Halloween Cup, there were so many things weak to ground. Nick fires off the overheat, landing for massive damage. We then see the pivot into Spiritomb, looking to absorb the energy. The opponent fire off the Stone Edge. They're continuing to stay in, looking to reach another charge move, which they're able to do as Clodsire has so much HP, they essentially just never die. Nick shields up the next Stone Edge. The opponent then sends out a Zoroark. Nick once again going to fire off the Rock Tomb, forcing the debuff on a Zoroark's already non-existent attack stat. If the opponent opts for the full bubble farm down, Nick would be able to reach another charge move. The opponent actually opts to dump energy, which is probably best case scenario. It should set up Revavroom, a very nice poison jab farm down. Hopefully this Zoroark isn't running Hydro Pump. Well, even if they are, this opponent didn't build up to it, so it's an easy Ice Beam tank for Nick. Nick tanks the Ice Beam, commits to that full poison jab farm down. If the low elf Clodsire returns, I would like to see us bank this energy, as it would be more useful, perhaps against whatever's in the back. The energy isn't better against the Lola Marowak, but the opponent invests to Protect Shield, unfamiliar with their moveset, and here comes Zoroark. After the debuff, these snarls are doing so much damage, the opponent invests that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming foul play. Nick, oh boy, tanks the Bone Club. Bone Club does a lot of damage, but Zoroark actually tanked that better than I was anticipating. The opponent fire off the next Bone Club. We invest the protection. Look like Nick paused, trying to wait for an attempted catch. The opponent still make a catch anyway. Nick goes to full undercharge, able to get the Snarl farm down. Luckily for us, Hex is resisted, so able to reach the next foul play and emerge victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. OG sent Nick leads Revavroom into Galarian Weezing. On paper, a very nice matchup, as both Steel and Poison do resist Fairy, but Galarian Weezing insanely spammy and they do have access to Overheat. This opponent doesn't build up to the potential Overheat, and we tank that Brutal Swing reasonably well. Nick farms up past the Overheat baits with the Acid Spray. Trainers have been putting up protections left, right and centre, probably due to the unfamiliarity of the moveset. Nick once again forced a Protect Shield, he then shields up the next Brutal Swing. I guess even an Acid Spray will come quite close to knocking out here. Nick actually banks the Acid Spray for the road, catches onto Spiritomb. Spiritomb shares the exact same typing as Sableye, so only takes neutral from opposing Dark or Ghost type attacks. We're able to get the resisted Sucker Punch farm down. Out comes Clodsire, and this is going to be a matchup where we really missed that lack of a Shadow Ball nuke. Oh boy, that was such pathetic damage. The opponent easily withstand the damage, return fire with the Earthquake. Earthquake easily picks up that one hit KO, and again this Clodsire is still going to be somewhat of an issue. Nick sends out Revavroom, goes straight for the Overheat, looking to remove Clodsire from the field of play. Overheat goes unshielded, picking up the knockout. Out comes Jellicent, and here comes Zoroark. Unfortunately, this opponent is running Bubble, but Bubble's energy generation isn't all that good. The opponent fire off the Surf. Nick going to be able to outpace to the double foul play, and we all know how this one's going to go. The first one forced the opponent's final Protect Shield. I have zero doubt in my mind the next foul play will be removing Jellicent from the field of play, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the super spammy Frog Greninja in the lead. I guess this is kind of where we want to see it, as their Dark type will be our Dark types. Nick stays in, fires off the Acid Spray. Are we going to see another Acid Spray shielded? Yes, we are. Nick then pivots into Spiritomb. Spiritomb will take neutral from everything in Greninja's arsenal. The opponent fire off the Night Slash. Thankfully, actually, did we see the boost there? I don't think so. I shoutcast on my phone. Yes, right, we're on a budget. And let me tell you, trying to see messages on a mobile phone is insanely hard. But regardless, the opponent forces a Protect Shield back, then send out a Zoroark. Nick fires off the Rock Tomb. He's then going to fire off the Shadow Sneak, and this is going to do such pitiful damage. However, it was CMP, which is pretty nice for us, as the opponent's dumping a majority of their energy. This fat, lethargic mouse shouldn't be able to reach a Hydro Pump before we get that full Poison Jab farm down. Another opponent doesn't commit to their pump. The opponent throws the Ice Beam, which is an easy tank for us. The opponent then goes for the Wham Bam combo play, send out Greninja. Nick obliges, putting up that final Protect Shield before Poison Jab farming it down. The opponent sends back out a Zoroark, that gets jabbed down as well. Out comes Clodsire, and again we're going for a very risky Acid Spray bait. Although in fairness, forcing a debuff is going to be very nice for Zoroark. Nick this time is full sending. Come on, trainer, it's just another spray, I promise. The opponent looks to call the next spray. That was so much damage, holy. Revavroom should be immune to poison, but immunity doesn't work in Pokemon Go. But regardless, they're going to be unable to Poison Sting farm us down. Nick now sends out Zoroark. Can Zoroark survive an earthquake? No, we cannot. And heartbreakingly, Clodsire is going to be able to sweep the remainder of our team. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see the same lead, so Nick going to be looking for some redemption. This opponent full sends the Hydro Cannon, which we invest a protection on Nick. Then going to throw a very nice fast move time in, 4 poison jabs and the acid spray. Acid spray again, force a protect shield. Have you ever seen a GBL submission where so many acid sprays are shielded? We then see the pivot into Spiritomb to operate as the damage sponge and check for any potential fairy type the opponent might have lurking in the back. The opponent allow us to full Sucker Punch farm down before sending out Charger Bug. There's no shot they know the moveset. Rock Tomb goes unshielded despite being super effective. It doesn't really do as much damage as one would hope. I was hoping for a big boom and I was left very disappointed. Nick now sends out Revavroom. We've got to let this go. Surely we can't leave Zoroark without protections. We saw what happened last time. Nick tanked the discharge at very low health, then threw 1 poison jab, transferred the Volt Switch to Zoroark. Then he invested the final protect shield. Shooting up the X's, out comes Venusaur. We fire off the Sludge Bomb, force the opponent's final protect shield. The opponent doesn't opt to double up. These Vomits can be double resisted. Surely we can survive one and reach the overheat. Yes, we can. Overheat. Gonna be nuking Venusaur. Back to its Pokeball. Get that Venusaur off my screen. The Poison Jab gonna register before the 4-turn Volt Switch. And we take that game. Very, very nice end game. Heading into the next battle. We see the absolute dream lead. Victory Bell gonna be completely walled by Revavroom's Poison Steel type in the opponent. Fire off the Leaf Blade. Trainer, that isn't the play. The opponent reveals why they opted to stay in as out comes Tapu Fini. I'm calling another acid spray shielded. The opponent shields the first acid spray. Nick could have actually thrown the next one. What are we doing here? We're going to shield up the Surf, bank the overheat for the road before sending out Spiritomb. Spiritomb looking for that resisted Sucker Punch farm down, which we're able to get. Sucker Punch, just such a busted move this season. Out comes Clodsire. Oh man, where's our Shadow Ball? Spiritomb in this moveset doesn't really offer much charge move pressure, but these Sucker Punches are really starting to chunk. Nick actually, interestingly enough, going for the resisted Rock Tomb, the opponent's shield, probably fearful we've got Shadow Ball. You've always got to fake it till you make it. Nick then fires off the Shadow Sneak. Oh god, I just can't get over how little damage that does. Unfortunately, Shadow Sneak is probably a move that will never ever get buffed as Giratina Altered has access to it. The opponent then tries the luck catching the foul play. Onto Victory Bell, Nick like, nah, not today. Trainer fires off the overheat, removing Victory Bell from the field of play. Nick has the foul play bank, so he's just going to settle for the acid spray, which certainly will put this Clodsire into foul play range. The opponent actually played to the CMP tie. They did not win. Shout out Home Size Henry for that quote. Nick going to return, fire off that foul play. It's going to be high Clodsire by Clodsire with Nick taking another game. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see another Greninja in the lead. This thing was so common in Halloween Cup. I personally used it in Open Great League for the first time ever. I normally run Shadows, but occasionally run some Spice, and I think Ninja is such a menace. It has very advantageous matchups into PvPoke's big three in the Open Great League, Clodsire, Mandibuzz and Gator. What more do you want from a Pokemon? Nick continuing to display a very good gameplay IQ and a good understanding of how an ABB team works. He always pivots out to check for any dark type counter. For example, this Ariados, something that our Zoroark wants no part of. Nick shields up the lunge, which would only hit for neutrals. Ghost does resist bug, where Dark does take super effective. Nick attempted to throw the Rock Tomb, but loses CMP. The opponent only fired off a cross poison, but unfortunately got the boost, but no boost. We'll be saving this opponent. Rock Tomb picks up the knockout. Out comes G-Weezy. We see the instant pivot into Revavroom. Can we survive the brutal swing from here? It's going to be close. No! Why would you sludge your steel and poison type? What was going there? Oh god, I can't even speak. What was going on, I should have said. Overheat's caught as well. Oh god, we're in shambles. I've completely lost composure. G-Weezy shields up the acid spray again. That's another acid spray shielded. That's got to be like 10 right now. The opponent finally fire off the overheat. What is this doing on the screen? When did Mischievous make an appearance? I have honestly no idea what's going on. The opponent sludges our ghost type. I'm just going to pretend that game never happened. And my commentary wasn't that shambolic. But we're going to move on to the next one. A commanding lead. The opponent opting for Charm as well on Clefable. I think Fairy Wind is preferred. Don't be like this trainer running tap tap nonsense Charm. Fairy Wind, a very good quick move. Charm, slow, boring and generates energy at about 1 mile an hour. The opponent safe switched into the big jellyfish. Nick committed a huge protect shield, blocking up the shadow ball. The opponent then fire off the bubble beam. It looks like Nick isn't the only person that likes debuffs. He then doesn't commit to the Sucker Punch farm down, opts to remove him from the field of play with the Shadow Sneak. Out comes Clefable, and it's time for the opponent to get a taste of their own medicine. Nick's like, you want to debuff me? How about I debuff you? We send back out Revavroom. You know what time it is, Nick. Gonna fire off yet another debuff. This opponent doesn't shield Toxapex. Even though they didn't know the moveset, who shields Toxapex? The only reason you use this thing is if you like Bulk. Nick now sends out Zoroark. I'm glad Mischievous isn't on the arena again, or I would have had to change the graphic. Although we got distracted. I think that's kind of pretty common now. I must have like ADHD or something. My attention span is atrocious. Zoroark forced to protect shield. We're unable to tank a Brine. The opponent sends back out Clefable, potentially giving us a win con thanks to the free farm trainer. So win con for us would be the opponent shielding his first acid spray and a resisted overheat knocking out. They didn't shield that. Nick gonna fire off the overheat anyway. Come on trainer, shield flex. You can tank this. Ugh. Brine's a pretty bad move. Perhaps we can actually survive this and still somehow win. The opponent tries to gonk shot flex us. Trainer, what are you doing? No, we're actually gonna win. Well, you guys on my Discord, please stop sending me battles where I constantly get in shambles. How am I supposed to commentate this? GG's, buddy. Heading into the final battle of today's video. We've seen this lead play out about 100 times. I'm already going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to shield the first move. The opponent's probably going to shield an acid spray. And then we're going to look to catch onto Spiritomb. Now I've said that, I bet this opponent doesn't shield the spray. Okay. Call me Mystic Meg. I get all the calls right. And we somehow manage to get back into some rhythm of shoutcasting. Let's see what this opponent's dark type counter is. We bait out a fairy type, which is always nice to see. Nick gonna give him that annoying debuff effect. Let's hope this opponent doesn't bubble farm us down. We're actually quite low as the opponent opted for the Hydro Cannon as opposed to the Night Slash. It looks like the opponent is committing to that full bubble farm down, but not before Nick's able to reach the Shadow Sneak. And we now find ourselves in the bait game. Are we about to get Hydro Pumped to the face? No, we're not. The opponent fires off the Ice Beam. At this point, Nick says, throw whatever you like. We're always saving our final shield for Zoroark. The opponent fire off yet another Ice Beam. Nick gets a massive Poison Jab farm down, leaving with the overheat, which is going to bank. We send out Zoroark. Oh, man. More Pekko. This has got to be GG's. Nick looking to call the bait. No! Why would you bait there? What is the opponent doing? That has got to be one of the worst baits I've ever seen in my life. Bearing in mind I've shoutcast a lot of battles and playing since pre-season. The opponent has gifted us a potential win con. Nick has the Sludge Bomb banked. I don't think the opponent's clocks up. So the opponent should be unable to catch. Nick actually overfarmed before firing off the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb will be picking up that one hit KO. We pivot back out into Revavroom. We're going to end the video with a massive BM. Nick, I take my hat off to you, buddy. That was a whole heap of fun. And I apologise to everyone because I was unable to shoutcast at numerous points because the opponent and Nick both had me absolutely bamboozled. On the off chance you enjoyed my absolute shambolic video, feel free to leave a like. If you're new and you've seen this video for the first time and you're thinking, actually, this shambles isn't bad, drop me a sub. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, I'm going to say a huge thank you to anyone still watching at this point, and I'll see you all in the next one.